Man, I said it yesterday. Once you get to this time of the year, PJ, time is a flat circle. Like nobody cares whatsoever about structure, about times you have to be at work. They don't care about really anything until after January like 2nd or 3rd.
Yeah, you got to give it at least I'd say 48 hours into the new year before everyone's recovered and fully invested in what that new year is and is bringing. And then of course you have all the fake. Let's be honest. You have all the fake new year, new energy, new all this stuff I'm doing.
New year, new me.
Yeah, that's gonna last 3 days because you just jump into it just way too much. Because like you've already had that half month of just like you said, not caring. It's the holidays, man. Like just that energy is thrown off. Like you have a great energy, but it's for a different reason than the normal stuff, that the normal just every day that you go through and that you normally have to have energy for. It's for a complete, so your body's just kind of out of whack. You take those 48 hours, you do the whole new year, new me thing for 3 days, and then you actually get back into sync, I think.
They say this time of the year is like where gyms have like the biggest spike in memberships. And I'm not going to say which gyms out there, but it is kind of a scam now where you sign up for the gym and it's like you have to get out of it. It's not just, hey, I want to cancel my membership. It's we need a written note to our corporate office to cancel your membership. And oh, by the way, we no longer just use your credit card or debit card, so you can't just like cancel your debit card. Like we have your bank account information, and so it's gonna take a lot for you to cancel this. It's $9.99 a month for the first 6 months, and after that, it's like boom, $29.99 a month. Like they just don't read the fine print, folks.
Absolutely.
When you're out there signing up for those gym memberships that you might use for a month, like PJ said, if you have a New Year's resolution, start now.
Right. Get a buffer.
If your thing is I want to eat better, start now. I know it's hard during the holidays.
It doesn't have to be hard. Like that. That's a really good strategy. Start, especially if it's eating better. Start eating better for the first little bit before Christmas. Take Christmas. Do whatever you want, man. Do whatever you want. Maybe even the day after.
So like,
but then get back into that grind.
With anything, 100% is not realistic. I know there's people out there like that.
Right.
I listen to the Alpha podcasts and like I'm gonna be this person and I'm gonna be 100% like that. It's just not realistic to be perfect at anything, right? Lord knows we're not on here.
Yeah.
But I think the most experts say if you're trying to do something, try to change something, 85%. If you can be 85% consistent, then that will become a part of your routine. It'll just become a part of your life. And so we're talking about, like we said, what the majority of people when they start a new year, the New Year's resolution is, I want to eat better. I'm gonna start getting back into shape. If you can be 85% consistent, you're gonna be good to go.
That's a B, man. That's a B average. Let's go.
You know, B's get degrees.
Exactly.
So do C's and so do D's, but you know.
Right.
But if you can hold on, to 85%, you know what that 15% gives you? Pig out on Christmas, man.
Yeah, why not?
Go pig out the next day too with all leftovers. It's fine.
You got those friends you haven't seen in 2 or 3 weeks. So go out, have a good time with them. But get back onto it the next day and moving forward and get back to that 85% the rest of the time. No, but
don't wait for New Year's.
Yeah, couldn't agree with that more.
Start now. If
sure.
you were thinking about getting back into shape, just go run a mile right now.
And that's really for
Unless
anything.
You're in your car,
I mean, yeah.
If you're in your car, get to a safe place first, and then go run a mile.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's for anything. You want to read more books? I don't know why you would want to, but if you want to read more books or whatever, read a chapter, like half a chapter a day for like a week, and then take a couple days off, and then get back into it. Maybe pick up a full chapter the next time you go to start
TJ,
reading again.
What was the last book you read?
What are books? What do you mean?
You're out here telling people to read a chapter.
No, I'm just saying. No. I'm using it as an example.
Okay.
Like that's what I'm saying. So, like, it doesn't. I feel like the obvious example and the easy one that everyone, not easy, or everyone would do it, but the one that everyone goes to is like, I want to be healthier. I want to eat better. But there's a lot more, other things out there, whether it be
probably
hobbies,
other healthier
whatever,
things like I'm gonna not care about the Falcons so much.
Yeah,
I'm not
for
gonna.
sure.
I'm like a good New Year's resolution could be I'm not gonna let Georgia emotionally devastate me.
Yeah.
Every single year. Like I think those are realistic. They're hard. That's gonna be very hard.
Absolutely. I'll say that's one thing that's kind of changed over the past 6 or 7 years. You talk about getting into sports media, sports radio, and you know how it changes you and whatnot. I actually found myself like coming out of high school and college and whatnot, I cared about every team that I liked like just as much as I cared about Penn State.
I can't do that.
And I couldn't either. You couldn't keep going.
I don't have the emotional capacity to care that much.
Exactly. Well, I mean, that's what like I for some reason I did for a little bit, and it was miserable. It was terrible. And I looked around and I was like, why am I doing this? All right, I'm gonna care about Penn State, but not to an unhealthy level. And then all those other teams just kind of make them like, yeah, I like them. That's all right. Whatever.
So you're saying right now you don't care about Penn State to an unhealthy level?
To an unhealthy level, no. No.
Like,
I smile as I say that.
Yeah. Okay. I was going to say, like, when Penn State, like, what did they start the year? Like, what was the best regular start the year? Like 4-0, 5-0?
They were 5-0. Yeah.
They're 5-0 and they lose. That had no mental, physical effect on you whatsoever.
I mean, no, yeah, of course it did.
Okay,
yeah, for sure.
So that's probably an unhealthy amount of caring.
No, it's not.
If a sports team comprised
what do you mean?
if a sports team comprised of teenagers losing a game,
what are you
a sports game causes you physical pain, because people out there saying like, wait, it causes you physical pain? Yes.
No, you know what? Actually,
if you're I'm not gonna say if you're a real fan, but if you're a real fan, the amount of like mental anguish that you goes to it, like for the next like 36 to 48 hours, there's a little bit of physical drain on you. So there's a physical effect to being a fan and watching it lose these games. Like you get rough.
The first one was fine. Like,
because you're still like, listen, you're going to drop one.
Not only that, well, I did have that attitude, but like I was also at that wedding when Penn State played Iowa.
Hey, if your friends are listening, y'all still suck.
we had a great time. You know, Penn State lost and that was terrible, but I was like, all right, we can recover. We could go the next week against Illinois. That was the physical pain.
So wait,
no, that was. I'm just gonna.
Hold on, to recap. Let's just put it all out there. Let's just.
That was terrible.
There's like, I think it might be in Russia. They have like one night a year where like the people from the town will get together and just, if you got to beef with somebody, Just put it out there, right?
Yeah.
Just get everything out in the open,
right?
I
like that. Yeah.
I just want to re-bring this up. I don't like your friends who got married.
Right. No problem.
Who the hell schedules a wedding 5-6 weeks into the college football season on a Saturday?
Yeah.
For those of you who weren't listening back then, PJ's friends schedule it during Iowa Penn State, which was that a top 4 matchup?
That was a 2 versus 3 matchup.
Holy hell.
At the time. Yeah. It was terrible. You know
did you drink your pain away that night? Like Kid Rock and that Sheryl Crow song.
I was no, because we were having a good time. That's the thing. I will say, so I don't know what it is.
This isn't something I've talked about. You just pretended for a little bit that you weren't a Penn State fan.
Yeah. Just have a good time, support the friends. Also, like, I don't know what it is. This is something I've never talked about, like on here. I don't think.
Oh, PJ's revealing things.
Dude, I love weddings. Like weddings.
Yeah, you've talked about this a lot.
Yeah. Weddings are my thing.
Define them as your thing.
Like wedding PJ came out and I was a good time the whole time. So like I went up, checked the score, was like, we're really about to lose to Iowa. And then once I walked out of the room, I was like, let's go. Get back into it.
No, see, Tom Segura has talked about this before. Like, are weddings your thing, or are they like a lot of people's thing?
I mean, I feel like a lot of people think weddings are their thing. I mean, that's fine.
Are they your thing? Are they your thing?
Is anything anyone's thing?
Yes.
No, I don't think it is.
Green, white, and checkered is your thing.
It's a NASCAR show.
But it's
at the end of the day, a lot of other people have NASCAR shows.
Yeah, but not green, white, and checkered. That are their things. But not green, white, and checkered. And are theirs as good as yours? No.
Well, I appreciate that.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you so much. That's a nice compliment. But like, yeah, weddings are great. I love weddings.
That's your
great
thing.
Times. I let myself go at weddings. I do.
Like clothes off?
No, that's not it. Letting yourself go at an event or whatever, or just getting out there doesn't always have to end. What does
getting out there look like for PJ Zuko?
So let my guard down, man. Just I'm a lot less. I don't even know the word.
like letting your guard down in terms of like emotionally just finally admitting that, yeah, maybe we wasted the prime of Saquon Barkley. All right, look, maybe we wasted that.
Oh, we did. No, I've known that for years. I've said for a long time, and I hope they hear me, that like the coaching staff since 2016, with the exception maybe of Brent Pry, who is now at Virginia Tech, the coaching staff at Penn State has been more subpar. Like if the talent level of the players is an A, the coaching staff has been like a C+.
Wow.
They've been holding back the players.
Let it loose, BJ.
They have been.
You got pain in your heart. Let it out.
I mean, that's something I've talked about a lot.
We are at that villager meeting where we're getting our beefs out.
I just don't know why we're talking about it on second down, but
you know
what it is.
If you're listening, and I know you are out there, and you got something you want to get off your chest, 912-342-7184, you call in, you let us know what you want to get off your chest.
Wait a minute. This is something that someone used to work here, used to be big about. Are we airing our grievances right now? Is that what's going on?
Yeah. Kevin Thomas just dropping a Matt McGloin on us.
That just shows how old he is. That was 2011.
No, if you're mad at something inside of college football and you just want to let that go before you enter 2022, you want to leave that in 2021, let it off your chest. 912-342-7184. If you got something to say about us, if you don't like something we're doing up here,
that's fine.
If you just don't like my face, I mean, because you can't not like PJ's face. Look at it.
Stop it. No, this is bad.
If you got something to say, 912-342-7184. We want to hear your grievances. I want to come back, though. I had an interesting thought. Mario Cristobal, now the head coach in Miami. There's a lot of question marks about him in regards to some of his previous stops. Obviously, he's a Miami guy, and they're really excited to have him back. But I think there's like an unfair knock on his resume that I want to dive into because it just kind of revolves around the NFL and college football. We're going to dive into that when we come back. We're also getting you ready for the famous Idaho Potato Bowl.
Woo!
Much more famous than either one of us. Kent State, Wyoming coming up for you at 3:30. We'll have pregame coverage for you starting at 3 o'clock. This is Second Down on ESPN Radio. We'll be back after this. Second Down on ESPN Radio is presented to you by the Uniform Source. Christian Gokel alongside PJ Zuko. Glad to have y'all hanging out as we get you ready for the famous, not just the Potato Bowl.
No.
The famous
Never.
Idaho Potato Bowl coming up at 3:30. Pregame coverage starting here on ESPN Radio at 3 o'clock. I said it, Mario Cristobal to Miami, obviously kind of old news at this point. Just one of many coaching changes in the biggest coaching carousel, maybe in the history of college football. I don't know, maybe just period. Wrap your mind around what I just said there.
Yeah, I try not to.
PJ, much like everyone else, mine just shut off until like January 3rd. But there seems to be an unfair knock around Mario Cristobal. Now, I'll hear this, right? You fire Manny Diaz, who finished the season on a fairly high note, right? Winning a bunch of football games, beating a rival, right? Into the season on a high note, but it seemed before that, kind of even maybe at the beginning of the season, you get trounced by Alabama. Mm-hmm. You can tell you're nowhere close to being ready. And then as the season goes, and obviously we see bookended, Alabama's really good, but as the season goes, you're like, man, Alabama's kind of struggled a little bit, and you got just absolutely demolished by them to open the season. Manny Diaz is gone. You bring in the guy that was your top target, Mario Cristobal. You get him from what I would argue is right now a better job in terms of just winning as of recently.
Yeah.
Oregon's been, I guess, higher stature than Miami as of the last decade or so. Mm-hmm. Get him back there, and now the knocks start coming. You fire Manny Diaz, you get a guy who lost to a team twice in the last couple weeks of the season and got just trounced by Utah a couple times.
Controlled.
And then people start looking back a couple years and they go, and you wasted Justin Herbert?
Yeah.
It's right. Like you had Justin Herbert, who I believe the Chargers as of right now have 8 wins this season, and I think they're pretty much locked into the playoffs, and he's just making these like rocket throws all over the field. Like I can't even think of somebody to compare him to, just because the way he delivers the ball is so unique. He's super athletic, just making all kinds of plays. People are like, why wasn't this dude Joe Burrow in college?
Yeah.
Right? And we hear this all the time with coaches, like why if you want to go locally, people go, why do you go with Jake Fromm over Justin Fields, right? Like, why are you choosing this? As of right now, the big question around Georgia is, why do you go Stetson Bennett over JT Daniels? Like, why are you doing this? This guy's clearly a bigger NFL talent than the other guy, right? I don't think that's fair. In the NFL, it used to be 16. Now you have a 17-week sample size where we've seen before, you can lose 7 times and still win the championship.
Mm-hmm.
So you have 17 chances, to go out there and just let it fly open and hope it works. Right? And if it doesn't, how many times have we seen really good teams? We just saw Tom Brady get shut out by the Saints, right? It's the NFL. It's going to happen. It's that about as equal as it can get for a talent structure across the board. In college, you have to be buttoned up tight from week 1.
Right.
So there's no like, hey, we're going to send Justin Fields out 4 wide at Georgia and just let him go as a true freshman.
Yeah.
Because Kirby Smart is paid to win 11, 12 games a year at Georgia at least.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't do that if you're putting a freshman / a rookie out there to go out there and play, and because they're going to make those mistakes.
Yeah.
So I just don't think it's a fair thing. We hear it with coaches a lot where it's like, dude, they had this quarterback. How did they not do more? Now, can it work sometimes? Certainly. We saw it with Joe Burrow a couple years ago where it was just Ed Orgeron saying, our defense is kind of good. We have this quarterback who's really good. We're just going to go wide open. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And it worked really well.
Yeah,
and they won a national championship.
Yeah.
But I think what is much more common is you're going to see coaches put the guy out there that is the least volatile. And you just kind of have to go out there with that fulcrum of saying like talent versus consistency. Where can I get that to the best point? Whichever quarterback gives me that is the one you're going to see. And like that right there is the reason when in 2018 you have Jake Fromm starting over Justin Fields.
Right.
Was he this uber talented true freshman? 1,000%. Was he more talented than Jake Fromm? I don't think that's a question anymore.
Yeah.
Right. But one guy had played 15 games for you the year before.
Mm-hmm.
And the other guy was a high schooler the year before.
Yeah.
Like in college, I just don't think it's fair to hold that above these coaches' heads and say you had this dude and you didn't do anything with him, right? Like if you have Justin Herbert at Oregon, it's really hard to go out there and just go 4 wide with him and just let him throw bombs all the time. Your job is to win football games. I think it's an interesting dynamic. In hindsight, it's always 2020.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hate when that's a knock. It's funny. I said that about Penn State at the end of last segment. And now I'm saying this, but I do very much just like when coaches have something like this hovering above their head and people keep bringing it up as well, because it makes the insinuation that this isn't a team game anymore, right? Like you had this one guy. How did you not go out and dominate every single game? Which I think, one, like you were talking about, brings it to the NFL in a sense of, yeah, Justin Herbert's made some extremely just insane throws in the NFL so far. He's also had a few games where he hasn't played that well. He's also had those losses. He's also had those bad throws. So, I mean, you're seeing that, but everyone focuses on the great ones.
There's no room for error in college football.
Right.
Like maybe 1 week. You get like 1 week where you can have an off week, but besides that, you have to be perfect if your ultimate goal is to win championship.
Yeah.
Right? In the NFL, you probably like 40 to 45% room for error.
Right.
Throughout a season where you can go out there and experiment and let him make mistakes.
For sure. Yeah. And just so that's a big part of that. And just getting back to the team thing. I mean, also you have to have everything, I feel like, click and ride in sync when you have those extremely crazy years that some people have, like Joe Burrow's and like Cam Newton's. Obviously he was, insane Superman, but to put that solely on Mario Cristobal, I don't think is fair at all. Maybe the offense wasn't perfectly what Justin Herbert was comfortable in. Maybe it wasn't perfectly what the wide receivers were comfortable in, or they weren't living up to the hype,
right.
or the offensive lineman weren't playing that well. There's so many different factors that can go into that.
Yeah, we go down to we can talk about NFL and college. We can go down the hash marks.
Yeah.
The hash marks in the NFL, sure. I think they're 18 feet apart, where in college it's 40 feet. And so it completely changes the game. You have the entire field to throw to every single down. Right. Versus in college, you have you have a legitimate strong side and weak side every time. So you have the full field to throw to in the NFL versus it can get pretty dicey trying to throw towards the sideline when you have those hash marks in college football. It's why it seems difficult. And it's why the NFL is a little bit more catered towards throwing the football.
Yeah. I think it also kind of discredits the great years that maybe other teams had, those years that Mario Cristobal and Justin Herbert were together at Oregon, and 2, discredits the years that they had. Did they win 3 national championships while Justin Herbert? No, of course not. But let's not forget that they were 9, 10, 11 win seasons, I believe, every single year that Herbert was there, and won a Rose Bowl. It's not like he didn't do anything with Mario Cristobal and Cristobal didn't do anything with Herbert. They had very solid years, I believe, every single year he was there at Oregon. So did they get that national championship? Did he light up the scoreboard and throw 70 touchdowns? No. But I don't think with Mario Cristobal's type of scheme and, play style and whatnot.
They got better every single year, right? So as a freshman, 4-8, as a sophomore, 7-6, as a junior, 9-4, and as a senior, 12-12, Rose Bowl champs.
Yeah. So it just got better, like you said, got better and progressed every single year that they were together, and obviously that Herbert was there in college. So yeah, like you said, for all of those reasons, I don't read into that very much. I don't think that's very fair, mostly because I think it discredits not only the coaching job, but also what the rest of the team did around him and how good were they? Because, it's a team game. We all know that.
I'm going to always navigate to this, but to me, it's also why what Cam Newton did with Auburn in 2010 is just so nuts, because they put that entire offense through him, right? Versus like we said, inside of college football, it's a team sport. You have to build around your team. When you go back and look at 2019 LSU, which I think Joe Burrow got about as close to the best championship season for a quarterback to Cam Newton that we'll see. And you look at what he had, he's throwing to 2 first-round pick wide receivers, 2 top 10 pick wide receivers.
Yeah.
And Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. He had the best offensive line in college football. He had a first-round pick at running back. He had all this crazy stuff he was throwing to. So more so than I think just turning Joe Burrow loose, it was saying, I think, because Clyde Edwards-Helaire led the SEC in rushing that year.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like,
and I think they've proved in the NFL that Joe Burrow didn't make them. Like they were all just that good.
Correct. And so you just had one of those freaky offenses that had that many great players. First is you have Cam Newton, and I think he was the only guy on that offense to take a snap in the NFL.
Yeah.
And they won the national championship.
And that just proves it even more. You can't point to that as an example. That is an outlier. That is the outlier of all outliers. Like you can't use that as the reason why Justin Herbert should have been better.
But it's like Cam Newton, like very similar to a Lamar Jackson, right? Where it's just like this guy's, or I'm trying to think of another quarterback that just like was the reason their team was that good.
I think you can kind of do that with, now I know they weren't winning national championships either, but like you can kind of do that with RG3 in college.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a pretty good wide receiver.
There's an argument that they should have been a top 4 team.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I think that's one.
Maybe Baker. But I mean, Oklahoma always makes it.
Yeah. And they had some pretty solid guys there too. I think they're running back at that point.
Well, Mark Andrews is in the NFL now.
Right.
But really nobody defensively.
No, yeah, they were carrying every game. Like I think that was when he was there, they were winning, like beating Texas like 60-58 or something like that. It's just insane.
Now, and I'll say this, obviously the best teams in college football, like 2019 LSU, or you go back to 2005 Texas, those teams, it's like when you have the great team and the super talented quarterback, and you can just kind of let him cook because, say, your defense can go out there and stop somebody if you need to get a stop. Like, look at LSU. How many times, then people don't really talk about this, but a lot of times they just didn't have third downs, period. But a lot of times they would score so fast that the defense had to play a lot more snaps than LSU was used to. It was a complete just culture change for LSU out there versus they were like, hey, we only want our defense on there 50 to 60 snaps a game, and we just want to play great defense, score enough points to win. Flip that, you get this team, and you're like, we don't care if we give up 30 as long as we score 40.
Right.
So it's just that identity change. But again, to blame a coach once a kid starts thriving in the NFL and saying like, dude, you could have done so much more with him. And also just as like people, our minds evolved so much from the time we're like 19 to the time we're 23.
Yeah.
It's not even funny. So there's a lot of criticism you can put out there. I think the number one thing for Mario Cristobal, I would say, is you got your butt handed to you on a plate twice by Utah to finish, and then you took over another job.
That's concerning. Yeah.
I would be more concerned about that than the fact that, he only won a Rose Bowl with Justin Herbert.
Right. Yeah. That's it. Just a Rose Bowl. It is what it is.
And I always say this too. It's like saying teams in the NFL or quarterbacks in the NFL who haven't won a Super Bowl while Tom Brady's playing. I'm not going to fault any head coach over the last decade for not winning a national championship while they're having to coach the same game as Nick Saban.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just, I don't think that's a really fair criticism to give any coaches. This is Second Down on ESPN Radio. Christian O'Kell alongside PJ Zuko here, leading you up to the famous Idaho Potato Bowl that's kicking off at 3:30. Got pregame coverage coming to you at 3 o'clock. We're taking a quick break here. We got more on Second Down after this. Second Down on ESPN Radio is presented to you by the Uniform Source. Christian Gokel alongside PJ Zuko here, taking you up to the famous Idaho Potato Bowl right here on ESPN Radio. Pre-game coverage starting for you at 3 o'clock. All right, PJ, how much Christmas shopping have you gotten done? Because you're headed up to the old PA pretty soon.
Yeah. Heading up there tomorrow, and did some last week, did some last night, finishing up tonight. So finishing up tonight, this is kind of a tradition I have. I do wait. Now, I get the theory about this, right? Like, everyone's always like, oh, you wait to the last minute. It's because you're procrastinating, blah, blah, blah. I was talking to someone the other day. I try to be thoughtful with my gifts. I think everyone does. I think some people do. I think other people are just like, some people are great gift givers, right? Some people just like think of something from someone's they said they like or whatever, and they get that. Some people are just like, they might like this. We'll see. So I like to make sure that I'm getting something that someone needs and or is very much interested in. So I wait for a while, put a lot of thought into it, try to as much as possible. So that's why I kind of get everything this last week of Christmas. I wrap everything on Christmas Eve, and obviously
on Christmas Eve, that is a
wrap
dangerous
it on Christmas
game.
Eve. That's what I do. I wake up Christmas Eve morning, wake up, get a cup of coffee, get breakfast, and wrap my presents.
PJ, I'm sorry I have to break in here. Our former producer Cody Queen texting in, saying bowl games stink.
Come on, man.
I'm just gonna look him. I'm looking him in the eye right here. Look you in the eye while I do this, Cody. You stink. You stink.
I'm sorry. After that take,
yeah,
he's right.
Yeah, you stink, Cody.
Why do you do this?
Anyway, we're gonna carry on here.
I saw you I was talking. I saw you do that, read that, and then mouth something, and I was like,
"What is he doing?
What is so wrong with what I'm saying right now?"
Well, okay. So what's the greatest gift like when you opened it that you have ever received? Is like the original Xbox?
You're putting I don't know. One that definitely comes to mind. I didn't know how much I was going to enjoy the original Xbox with Halo with it, because this is the thing. Me and my oldest brother Tony were PlayStation people.
Sure.
So we played the PlayStation all the time, really enjoyed some of the games on there. And then Mario came home from a friend's house one night and was like, we got to get Halo, but we have to get an Xbox. And we were just like,
I picture your brother bursting in, sweaty and out of breath, we have to get Halo.
This has to happen. So we were still relatively young, but he was adamant about it. So what's pretty cool actually too is we had my dad on the phone. He was stationed in Iraq at that point. And he
was like, guys, you gotta get Halo.
He worked with my mom, obviously, to get Halo with the Xbox for us. And at that point, I had no idea how much I was going to enjoy it and how many good times it was gonna bring. So in retrospect, I guess I would say that. But I was pretty glowing and happy when I opened my number 3 Deion Butler Penn State jersey.
Oh, baby. You still got that bad boy.
Yes. Yeah. Still wear it on game days. So Uncle Mike, Aunt Brenda, credit to you guys for sure. But yeah, that one of my favorite Penn State players all time. And obviously you don't have the name on the back, but
sure.
I remember who it is for sure. And I still remember that moment. So there's a lot of amazing ones that come to mind too, but that one's pretty high up there.
So obviously all the video games definitely make the list. I'd say, I'm trying to think of the ones I got for Christmas. N64 for sure, PS2, and then the Xbox 360. Those were all very significant portions of my childhood. But there's also some that just stick out in my mind. My grandma got me the Mark McGuire 2000, which is just this big foam bat, but not the weak foam. It was it had a sturdy PVC interior to it. It was big and red and kind of had metal on it as well, fake metal obviously, but it looked almost robotic when you went up there. And that thing would launch a baseball. I spent so much time out in the yard just kind of throwing balls up to myself. and just trying to launch them. Like I definitely remember that. But no, the video games obviously are always going to come down to it. Now I'm like I'm amped up. If I get like button down shirts and underwear and socks, I'm like that's something I ain't gotta buy.
Exactly.
I appreciate y'all for that, but nobody wants to buy underwear for a grown man, which I don't think that's cool. I think we should make that acceptable now. I want to hit you with a quiz here real quick. So I've pulled this up. It's a list of the most popular Christmas gifts throughout the years, but staying kind of in your lane. I want to see how close you can get to some of the years here. So what year was PlayStation, just the OG PlayStation, listed as the top gift?
OG PlayStation. I think it came out a little bit before the original Xbox. 1999.
Close-ish. 1995.
Wow,
the original PlayStation, 1995. Wow. It actually beat the Nintendo 64 to the punch.
Yeah.
The 64 came out in 1997.
See, in my head, that's not how that works, right? Because we had the N64 before the PlayStation that we had. Maybe I'm thinking of a PS2. I'm not sure. But N64 had a bunch of good times with that too. I mean, you had 007. What was it?
On N64? Oh, brother, we can go for days. We can go to Mario 64.
Yeah, for sure. You had the 007 game. You had like
Bros.
The hockey games, Super Smash Brothers, Super Mario Kart. You had like Zelda. And
oh, man, yeah.
Yeah, there was a hockey game on there.
Like the Ninja Gaiden stuff.
Yes. There
was
another
more PlayStation.
One. Dude, did you ever get to play Pokemon Arena?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. You had like the Pokemon game too, where you go and just take pictures of Pokemon.
You know, like next level was
that was awesome.
The GameCube. I never had a GameCube because I wasn't that into it.
Yeah.
But seeing people like take their cartridges out of their like Game Boy, and they had like the adapter, and they could like put their Pokemon on the GameCube. That was like
next.
And level. Then the next thing that blew my mind from that was back in the day when we actually had an NCAA football game, which hopefully we have again soon. The career, like the Heisman career, like where you go through and you create your own character and you commit to a school and you play for 4 years, and then you could import him into Madden. And then the heartbreak of playing 4 years and throwing for like 16,000 yards and winning 3 Heismans and 4 national championships, and then you're like a 3rd round pick by the Broncos.
Yeah. You're like, I don't want to play for this team after all that.
Like a 3rd round pick?
What in the world? What is this? And then you get like it's grading time. What grade am I going to get in Madden? I'm a 71.
Yeah,
what?
I'm a 3rd round. I won 3 Heisman.
What is this?
This is ridiculous. All right, what year did the original Xbox come out in, PJ?
That was 2001.
Yeah. Look at it. It came out in 2001. Mm-hmm. It was the top gift in 2002. Do you care to guess? Just because it's all toys. Can you name just another franchise from 2002 that would have been popular, just toy wise?
Oh God,
I'm just gonna say to you, Bratz dolls, Rapunzel Barbie, Yu-Gi-Oh,
yeah,
and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Of course, right. I thought that would have been more like 90s for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but they're always popular. So
maybe a new show came out or something like that.
Maybe.
All right. What year did the Xbox 360 top the charts?
That was that. And then that was on the original 2007.
Close. 2005.
Really?
So only like 4 years between the OG Xbox and the Xbox 360. Same year, the Tamagotchi connection, Nintendo DS, iPad Nano, and Star Wars electronic lightsabers.
Oh, goodness gracious.
2005 was a good year. That was a good Christmas.
I was walking around like, and don't underestimate the lightsabers, right? Because I don't care what age you are. I was walking around a store with my friend literally last night, toy shopping for my little nephews and my godson.
You haven't done any Christmas shopping yet, PJ?
No, I did some. I did some last week, and I'm finishing tonight. But no, was walking around, saw a couple lightsabers. You know, your boys took out the lightsabers and straight up had a duel right there in Target.
Well, I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
The very next year in 2006, the Nintendo Wii hits the scene, and that thing still slaps. Like I don't care what anybody says. if you think you can take me on a Wii baseball, you got another thing coming.
I can't believe that was 06.
Yeah, I'll fight you all day in some Wii golf as well. I still remember getting the Wii for the first time. Like all the cousins got it, and somebody brought it to my grandparents' house, and my grandpa was watching us play it. He's a big time golfer, and he was mad because he's like, "That ain't real golf."
Right.
Well, it's a video game. He's like, that's not real golf. All right, man. We're just gonna have we're sorry. All right, last one. Just need a hazard a guess here. PS3.
Well, if that was probably 2000, I'm gonna go with 2007 again.
Nailed it. 2007.
Okay. Right.
Also, Guitar Hero 3, iPod Touch.
Yeah.
And the WWE playset.
Wow.
Topping out the list in 2007. I mean, I love it, man. I wonder what kids are looking for now.
I don't know. Probably like Fortnite characters or something, like play characters and stuff.
Just skins, Fortnite skins.
I will say that like I'm kind of in heaven right now because new Halo came out and whatnot. So like I was walking around Target, there was a lot of Halo toys there.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be sad to give it away. And it's one of those things that like I don't even really know if they're listening right now. Like, sorry if I spoil this, but I don't think they are. I don't even know if they've been introduced to that game in particular, or they're pretty young. Just like war, just the concept of it, but it is what it is. So if anyone knows what this is, I got one of my nephews a toy Needler.
Oh, okay. Little Halo action going on. Yep.
And I couldn't believe they had it. I was like, I don't care how much this is. I'm getting it. So now he's just going to be running around the house shooting things at the walls.
What stinks is
I'm probably going to have to repaint a lot while I'm up there. Good. It's fine.
I mean, you should, but because you're getting these people gifts that can fire at other people.
Yeah, it's great.
The thing that stinks now, though, is you literally can't look up. Like, I can go back to like 2018 and like look up lists of like the most popular gifts, and it's actually like the most popular gifts. Now all of like the links are just like, here's the 25 most popular Christmas gifts 2021, and it's literally just paid advertisements for all of the products. It's like, yes, of course, this thing that washes your feet while you watch TV for $24.99. That's the most popular Christmas gift.
That's what every
right now. All right.
That's what every 9-year-old wants.
Correct.
Yeah.
Let's get that. We want just get us an N64 and we'll be happy.
Get the heck out of here.
We got more to come here on Second Down. We'll be right back after this. Santa and Rudolph visiting Tuscaloosa early this year. Some breaking news while we were in the break. Former Georgia Tech running back and All-American all-purpose guy Jahmyr Gibbs has committed to Alabama.
How about that?
So now two of the top transfers in the transfer portal, both heading to Tuscaloosa, as a few days ago, Eli Ricks, it was a freshman All-American at LSU a couple years ago, is headed to the Tide as well. So if I could give you any friendly wager advice, just go ahead and bet the house on Alabama 2023 national champions.
Yeah, I think that's safe every year.
How does that work? If they play in 22, but they play the championship in 2023, are they technically the 2022 national champions? So just bet it on them being the 2022 national champions.
Right. No, completely agree. And right there with you. I think that's a safe bet almost every year. But I think the more we see Nick Saban being there at Alabama, them keeping the success, and of course, these transfer rules kind of getting more loose, which I am not saying I have a problem with, but this is going to happen more and more. It just is. They want to go and play for the best team, and they think they're the best players in the country, which I think, like you said, those two guys can now show that at Alabama, and certainly will. Just nothing but good things for that Rolling Tide there.
Yeah, and kind of a punch to the gut for Jeff Collins there as he loses his clearly the best player on Georgia Tech's football team after a really tough season. Again, we got the famous Idaho Potato Bowl coming up next. Pre-game coverage starts for you after the break, and then we'll have live game coverage coming up for you at 3:30. For PJ Zuko, I am Christian Gokel. We'll talk to everyone tomorrow.
Come on.